Hi guys, this is Jamie with gettingcrafty.net. That's gettingcrafty.net. To say that I love color is an understatement. I love color. You can even tell I'm almost always wearing vibrant colors because it's just so much fun. So today we're going to create a colorful scene. No, we're not going to be getting into it, but what we are going to do is get into some fun crafting and creating. We're going to be coloring one stamp set, one scene, two unique and fun ways. So you can see here with the Snow Front stamp set and Itty Bitty Christmas, we're going to have fun creating with our ink pads and our watercolor pencils in a very unique way. Check this out on my blog as well afterwards at gettingcrafty.net. That's gettingcrafty.net, where we have fun creating all the time, and don't miss out on our Facebook Lives. I'll see you soon. Hi guys, so we're gonna go ahead and create a scene. I know you're like, really Jamie, nobody wants to create a scene. Believe me, I don't like it when people create scenes. But I want to create a colorful scene that will brighten your day. So on our recent Facebook Lives, you can see this on my blog at gettingcrafty.net. That's gettingcrafty.net. On our recent lives, we created two different scenes, one scene, two different ways. So using our watercolor pencils and our ink pads, we did two different techniques on a one-layer card. So when you open it up, it literally is just one layer. So you can see these full tutorials on my blog at gettingcrafty.net. Now we're going to go ahead and create a new scene that has layers. Why not? So this is the scene we're going to start with. This is our watercolor pencils, and then we'll create one that's just like it using our ink pads. Now we'll be using the exact same colors on both of these cards. And I want to start with one and then show you the other, and then we'll look at them side by side. Using our watercolor pencils, I love Stampin' Up's watercolor pencils. They have two collections. You can see here, this is the second collection. It's 149014, 149014. And then this is our first collection. It is item number, I cut it off. I have to look it up. So you'll see it on the video. And I store them in a wood mount case. It's a full-size wood mount case. I also keep usually an aqua painter, a blender pen, and a wink of Stella in here with a little sharpener. And then I tuck it all in and I close it up so that it stores safely for travel as well as on my shelf. So this is what it looks like when it's on my shelf. Today we're going to use a unique tool that I picked up elsewhere, so it's something anybody can use to add to their coloring repertoire. We're going to start with crushed curry, pumpkin pie, Cajun craze, and cherry cobbler watercolor pencils, and we'll also accent with our garden green ink pad. Garden green ink pad. Since we're using the Snow Front stamp set, this is a unique stamp set to Stampin' Up. It's a photopolymer, and it's item number 150483. That's 150483, and it's a builder set. So you can have fun building so many beautiful, beautiful scenes with this exact set. And we're also going to accent it with the Itty Bitty Christmas stamp set. That is item number 150513, 150513, with 18 gorgeous, perfectly scripted Christmas greetings. You need this in your life. It is actually also a bundle where you can get these gorgeous dies that coordinate with it, and you can save. And that bundle number is on page 16 of our holiday catalog. It's bundle number 153019, 153019, and you save 10% when you get the dies and the stamp set, and that makes me super happy. And that's a cling stamp set, so it's red rubber. We're going to need, because we're going to use stamp set, you need to also have a Stampin' Pearson mat as well as a grid paper. I will use grid papers and grid bases on all of my crafting for numerous reasons, one of which is you stamp better and you create better when you have grids underneath. It's an optical illusion to your brain in order to craft better. I know it's crazy, but it works. We'll be using Cajun Craze cardstock for the base, Whisper White cardstock, and this is the Monsters Bash Designer Series paper. That's the Monsters Bash Designer Series paper. Yes, it's a Halloween paper, but it's gorgeous. It is item number, let me grab that for you real quick. I thought I had it right in front of me. Chuka, 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 right here. So it's item number 150447, 150447, and I adore this paper, not just for Halloween, but because it's the cutest collection of paper with scrolls and images. Oh, it's gorgeous. Now, let's go ahead and we're going to create two different cards today. let's go with this 3x3 piece of Whisper White cardstock. And I'm actually going to place immediately my piercing mat underneath and my grid paper. Then I'm going to place the Whisper White cardstock here. Because we're using our watercolor pencils, we're going to start with the lightest color first, which is our crushed curry base. I always teach people when they're coloring, it's really important to color along the shape of your stamp or the shape of your paper. So we will be coloring in a square image here in order to accent it. Now, using the crushed curry, I like to go on the side and go just like so. We will build each color, and you need a nice solid image right in the middle. This is going to be your focal point to this card. A beautiful handmade card does not have to be traditional colors always. This is a really pretty Christmas season card, but you can use it even for fall because the greeting I used was celebrate the season. And I think too few of people celebrate fall. So we're gonna go ahead and just color a nice centerpiece right here in the middle. Then we're gonna build each color on the side. So I use the side here, and you don't have to press hard. A lot of people, when they're coloring, they hurt their hands doing it. Really, the pencil will do all the work for you. Stampin' Up! Has done all the research to create the best quality watercolor pencils for you. And so don't go too crazy on your hands. Now we're using the pumpkin pie. And I'm going to go around the crushed curry and into the crushed curry, just like this. So around and into. You don't want to be too uniform either, so you kind of want to blend out your colors. Then we're going to go into the Cajun Craze and the Cherry Cobbler. Okay, so I want to point out that I colored all the way through with our crushed curry, pumpkin pie, Cajun Craze, and our cherry cobbler. I also took the cherry cobbler watercolor pencil and I went sharply along the edge to create a nice frame on that. That's going to give you a more finished product. When you do that, that little line creates an imaginary frame. You can frame it out in a cherry cobbler or another color cardstock. I don't feel like I need to right now on this card. Okie doke. So then we're going to use and color this in with our Wink of Stella. Wink of Stella is a glycerin base with glitter in it. It's a Wink of Stella glitter brush, and I love it. I also lose everything, so I love that you can put the tip on the end. We're going to go ahead and blend it out right in the middle, and you can see how gorgeous this is. But we're going to do a little tool that you may or may not have in your coloring repertoire. So what we're here, we're going to pull in the pumpkin pie. And we want to keep that yellow center, so don't pull it in too far. We're going into the Cajun Craze. And yes, I'm building each color kind of individually and then pulling it in because I don't want necessarily the cherry cobbler in the middle of our pumpkin pie, which it can do. And because this is a glycerin base, I am not squeezing the Wink of Stella. It already has the Wink of Stella on the tip right here. And we're just going to go ahead and I might give it a little squeeze right there, but that's it. I'm not going to go crazy. And I'm taking the color right to the edge. I love a beautiful sunrise and sunset. I have a small farm, and so I'm always blessed when I can be out there with my puppy and the goats and doing tending to our little small goat farm. And one of the best part is seeing the majesty of a sunrise or sunset. It's so much fun. I wish my iPhone caught the picture the way my friends who are photographers could do. I'm going to use just this little tip right here just because I don't want to get I don't like it color on my fingers if I can avoid it. Now, inking fingers is like what I do. I have no fear of getting messy usually. Now you can still see the streaks, and that is actually perfectly fine, but I'm going to show you something that you can pick up at your local dollar store. I don't know if all of them do. I'm sure they do. And you actually, believe it or not, need to go into, and this, wait a quick, you can see here the Wink of Stella has picked up the color. So what I do is I will wipe that off. I will take and give a little squeeze and just keep going until the color has stopped distributing right there. And your pen is now all set and ready to be used again. Now I'm going to use a little tool that we use in makeup. Now I don't use it because I don't use a lot of makeup, but I do love this handy dandy little tool. So it's called a foundation brush. I know, silly, right? You're thinking, why do I need a foundation brush, Jamie? Genevieve is my daughter. Why do I need a foundation brush, Jamie? Well, I have a couple of them in my repertoire because I like to blend out the colors. It's a really fine collection of brushes, and a lot of people will spend a lot of money on professional coloring brushes, but this works just the same, and it's $1. And guess what? If you lose it, you're not going to be horrified. Now I'm going to go in and I'm going to blend it out. This will help to eliminate some of those streaks. This will soften the look of the card, and I like it. It's just a little accent that you can take, and you'll blend out the harshness of some of the lines that you'll see there. And it's not wet. It is literally just dry. I'm using it just like so. And is it going to color it perfectly with the watercolor pencils? Probably not. If I wanted to add more glycerin like the Wink of Stella, I could totally do that, like so. And you'll see the difference. So go in, while it's still wet, I stopped for a second to make sure I had it like right next to me. I'm going to go in and just kind of soften it with the Wink of Stella, or you can use aqua painters if you don't want to have a colory, sparkling background. You can also use aqua painters. I'm gonna go in while it's still wet and really soften those lines, just like so. You don't have to go crazy. It's an amazing tool, and when you're done, you just kind of go like this, and it's ready to be clean. You can clean this just like you would with any makeup brushes if you have makeup brushes. I use very little makeup. I'm more of a lip stain kind of girl on the go, but I do like to have a soft image for my crafting with this blended look. It looks so good, so good. And you just softened some of these lines. Okay, so now we have this little blended out image right here. Now, I love a Christmas tree. I cannot lie. I really, really do. So using the garden green and this little Christmas tree from the Snowfront stamp set, we're gonna accent that in the middle. Now, if I had a manger for this, I would totally rock a manger. We have a gorgeous collection of Christmas stamps this year. You really have to look if you haven't seen it. You can see them right on my blog at gettingcrafty.net. That's gettingcrafty.net. Now, this is 3 individual little Christmas trees, and we're going to do a really fun little technique. We're going to frame it out. So I'm going to go ahead and stamp it in here. Another reason why we have the photopolymer underneath, right? And we're going to stamp, and without re-inking, we're going to move it over and stamp again. This is going to give us a really fun variegated background, just like so. I go up to the mountains on a regular basis. I'm a Big Bear Lake fanatic. We own property up there, and I love, love, love it. I actually book a retreat there for my customers every year because it's so fabulous to me. It's like one of my favorite places. I love nature. And this is an easy way to create a frame that's unique, but you can still see the colors kind of peeking through. And when I go hiking up there, it's through the trees that I go. Like, I love, did you know there's vanilla scented pine trees? There is. I know, it's kind of crazy when you think about God's like ideas on his stuff. Like, he must have had so much fun designing the world. Okay, and I'm gonna add just like a couple trees like here in the middle. Oh, I'm getting ink on my fingers. Another reason I hate that. Okay, I'm gonna kind of just go in and accent the corners. And that little addition of that pointed in Christmas tree will help this to look like you have more of a frame going on than you actually do. Now we're going to accent this a couple of ways. One of my favorite accents is copper. I know it sounds silly, like what, copper as an accent? Yeah, because Stampin' Up! Has great copper copper foils, but we also have copper accented embellishments like these star designer elements. These are item number 150430, 150430, and we're gonna place the tree on, the star on top of the tree. Using our Take Your Pick tool, we're gonna go in and grab a star. Oh, usually. Let me see here, my gummy might be all funky. And we're gonna place it right on the top. Now my grandpa always allowed us, when we came for a visit, to put the star on top of the tree. He would wait for me. And that was like a special movement. Now we have the youngest in the family, usually gets on one of our shoulders, and they do it at our house. So it's kind of fun. Then we're just going ahead and assemble this card. All I'm going to do is I'm going to fold and bone our crushed curry cardstock. Like so. And with dimensionals in between, I'll end up placing this beautiful foliage, this beautiful filigree paper. I will use dimensionals to accent and place the colored cardstock right on top, just like so. And we'll finish building this card in just a second here. Oh my goodness, so easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now, tons of color, unique style. I notice it's a little wonky on the word. I'll fix that. And we're gonna go ahead and design the same card, but using our ink pads in the same exact colors. So we're gonna be using crushed curry, pumpkin pie, Cajun craze, and cherry cobbler. So I love how this Monsters Bash Designer Series paper designed for Halloween is great for fall and Christmas cards as well. We're gonna start with I used our dimensionals here. I'm going to put that to the side for right now. We're going to put our pierce mat right in the middle. Place the grid paper across the top. Place our paper inside. Here is again 3x3. We're going to use a wedge of our Stampin' Sponges. Our Stampin' Sponges come in a big round circle. I like to do little wedges. And here I'm just going to dip into the corner the crushed curry. And I'm going to go in and do the crushed curry. Now this is going to be a far more intense color, and it's almost a little bit less control because it saturates in a way that you just don't have the same control that you do with our watercolor pencils. And we're going to go in and make sure we kind of fill in the edges. You want this to be a balanced sunset, sunrise kind of a vibe. And then I did one for each color. So then I'm going to go into pumpkin pie. Now, when I use our ink pads, I'm going to grab this here just so you can see it. I like to use, because you rarely stamp with the corners of your ink pad, I like to gather the ink from the corner of my ink pad, just like so. I'm doing that here with the pumpkin pie. And I'm going to go into the crushed curry a little bit. You can also use our sponge daubers. That's a finer image. Finer brush, basically, or sponge, I should say, not brush. And I've gone into the crushed curry a smidge. It's beautiful. It's just kind of frustrating when you're lack of control of color. And fall in California means yesterday we had extreme fog. It was like a pea soup outside, and then today we have extreme wind. So it went from being super moist in the air to super arid. And then we're going to take another sponge into the Cajun craze, and we're going to do the same with the cherry cobbler. Okay, so if you were to see the difference in the coloring, it's quite dramatic. Wish I had just left the paper alone, but this is the same colors used here, and this is the same colors with our ink pads on our regular Whisper White cardstock. It's a lot darker and more intense. Now we're going to go ahead and use that brush, the same one, and we're going to blend out our colors. And just take your time doing this. Really go in and see if you can touch up where you might have had the sponge like saturated right there. And I'm going to go in and blush it out, brush it out, blend it out. This dollar store brush is like a dream. It's all those tiny bristles just like that. Let me see if you can see that. Tons and tons. And you can purchase the ones that are specific for crafting and coloring, but I have not found a difference in those. And those range from, I don't know, $15 to $20+ just for those kinds of brushes, where this is the dollar store version and it works. And if I lose it or it gets bad, I can just toss it out and get another one. Okay, it's not that I forgot it, but I forgot it. We're also going to accent it with the Wink of Stella glitter brush because I want the same vibe that I'm going to get on the others. So all I'm going to do is give a little squeeze, go in, starting in the middle, kind of blend out the colors just a smidge. It's going to be a lot more wet of a project because it has the ink pads versus the other, but you can blend out this stuff here. And then when you use the brush, it's going to even be better. You could really just do the brush only if you wanted. But I want this to have the same continuity with the little bit of dazzle of that sparkle, because when you come upon a beautiful scene in nature, it really does have its own sense of sparkle, especially at sunset and sunrise. So here we go. It's a little wet with the Wink of Stella. I'm going to blend that off. I'm going to take that brush and we're going to go, and there you go. You can see it blends just a smidge better because it's probably fresh and wet. Does that mean that this is going to have Wink of Stella on it? Yep, it sure does. And this handle feels really good in the hand. Oh my goodness. This is a little tip you can do with, and I think you might even be at the 99-cent store. You just go into the makeup department. I don't wear makeup from I don't wear a lot of makeup anyway, but I don't wear makeup from these kind of stores because your body is an organ and you want to put quality stuff in it and on it. So you can see here where I have stamped out right there. Did it blend it 100%? No, but that's okay as well. You really want to give it a good like buffing. And when you look here, does it translate? No, it's kind of interesting how it works. My daughters don't even watch, none of us watch those people where they put makeup on or whatever, but it's kind of interesting how they use that on their very face. I don't know. Maybe you do. I don't. We're going to use that large pine tree from the Snow Frost right into the center here. And because the Pierce mat is there, it's going to push back on the photopolymer and give you a better resolution. Then remember how we took the corners, and we're just going to stamp those corners just like so. Okay, so you can see the difference here. It's a much more saturated and intense color selection and a lot less control when you're using ink pads, though it's dynamic and beautiful on its own here versus here. So you can see the difference in the two. Oh, get rid of that little paper. Oopsie doopsies. Okie doke. So let's go ahead and put this card together using our dimensionals, just like we did on the first card. Always, I scored the card at 4 1/4, cut it at 5 1/2. I'm going to pinch the edges, and using my bone folder, I'm going to impress upon the edge just like so. Then I'm going to stamp the greeting from the Itty Bitty Christmas in the Garden Green ink pad. And then I'm going to put the pieces together with our Stampin' Dimensionals. So the key to that as well is to make sure that I don't like to get stuff on my fingers, though you can see the ink is totally all over my fingers. I'll put the dimensional on it and then I remove the backing. You want to do all 4 corners and at least the middle on the larger pieces because you want it to be supported for when it ships or when it stands on your counter. Okay, so we're gonna go ahead and embellish this. Again, I'm using my Take a Pick tool. I just kind of fluff the green matter on the bottom and pick that up, and we're gonna put that Christmas ornament or the Christmas tree right on the top, just like so. And put it down. This is one of the best tools ever. It's only $10, y'all. You need it in your life. Now, sometimes I like a little pretty ornaments on there. So I thought, what are we going to look like if we were to put the metallic pearls on this card? So this comes in both gold and silver, but this is like a burnished aged gold. So it makes it easy to create with the copper there. So I'm going to pick up I'm going to help if I separate the two. Keep them separated. And then I'm just going to pick up the little pearl. I'm going to put some on the front of this card, just like so. Oopsie. I'm telling you, this Take a Pick tool is dreamy, isn't it? I need one more, like towards the middle bottom down here. There you go. I like it. And you can see here how easy it is to put that on there. I like dynamic, easy accents and accessories. I think all of my accessories that I wear or I use on my crafting are all really easy to do. Actually, most of the crafting I do is pretty easy in general. Now, we have one card colored 2 different ways. I don't know which you prefer. I'd love for you to comment and let me know which one you like better. Both of them were accented with our Wink of Stella. You'll get a better image. Here in a second, I'm going to turn off the light so you can see that. Now, here with our Monsters Bash Designer Series paper, crushed curry cardstock, Whisper White cardstock that we accented with the ink pads, or here the watercolor pencils. We had used our crushed curry for the center, pumpkin pie, Cajun craze, and cherry cobbler all around the edge. So I like it. I don't know about you. I think it's beautiful. And we accented it and blended it out with that facial brush that we picked up at the Dollar Tree, just like this, a foundation brush. You can have big ones, small ones. There's tiny ones even. I don't know. I like that size. It fits in your palm pretty well, like that. So it's really small and nice. And I have kind of an average size hand, I guess. I don't know. And I'm going to show you how that wink really appeals, but it looks better without the light. So when you see here, you can see how that comes together. So one card, 2 ways. I hope that you want to color with a little bit of, want to have a colorful scene with a little bit of sparkle, just like this. Blend it out. And I'd love to see what you create with a similar technique. Feel free, you can post it, private message me on my Facebook page, facebook.com/gettingcrafty.net. You can email me, you can do it to my blog, you can comment on my blog or my videos. I would love to hear what you're gonna do. Please do me a favor, like and share this video as well. And I hope that this inspires you to create something in color in a variety of ways that maybe are not as traditional for Christmas, kind of like a purple card here. This here is the watercolor pencils. This is the ink pads all on crumb cake, directly, nothing underneath. It's pretty cool with that gorgeous organza glitter ribbon. And then here we have it framed out with a golden Christmas card. Who knew? But it's really great for even fall if you want to accent it for a fall. I hope that this inspires you to create with a little bit of color. Have a great one. Check this out on my blog at gettingcrafty.net. That's gettingcrafty.net. Thanks. Have a great one. Bye.